It was supposed to be a routine stop. 10 minutes later, it turned into a national story. March 17, 2024. A Sunday afternoon. A broken taillight. And a black man whose only crime was driving home from work. What happened next was captured on body cameras, dash cams, and a bystander's cell phone. And what those cameras revealed forced America to confront a truth we've been avoiding for generations. That for some people, a routine traffic stop is never really routine. That compliance doesn't guarantee safety. That doing everything right can still end with your hands on a burning car hood and a weapon pointed in your direction. This is the story of Marcus Williams, an ICU nurse, a father, a man who did everything he was supposed to do. And it still wasn't enough. Because when you're black in America, sometimes your skin is treated as probable cause. And sometimes a broken taillight becomes a matter of life and death. This is what happened. This is what it means. And this is why it keeps happening over and over again. Let me set the scene for you. It's 3:47 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon in suburban Richmond, Virginia. The sun is shining. Families are out walking their dogs. Kids are playing in yards. It's the kind of peaceful suburban Sunday that Americans dream about when they picture the good life. Marcus Williams is driving home from his shift at St. Mary's Hospital. He's 34 years old, been an ICU nurse for 8 years. He just finished a 12-hour shift. One of those exhausting days where you're on your feet the entire time, making life and death decisions, keeping people alive. He's tired. His back hurts. He's ready to get home. He stopped at the grocery store on the way. Picked up ingredients for his daughter's favorite dinner, spaghetti and meatballs. She's 7 years old, her name is Zoe, and Sunday dinners are their thing. He promised her he'd be home by 5. He's looking forward to it, to being dad instead of Nurse Williams, to playing with his daughter, to just existing in the comfort of his own home. He's driving a 2019 Honda Accord, dark blue. Nothing flashy. The kind of reliable middle-class car that millions of Americans drive. He's wearing his scrubs, navy blue with little stethoscopes printed on them. His hospital ID badge is still clipped to his chest. He's obeying the speed limit, using his turn signals, doing everything a cautious driver does. And then he sees the flashing lights in his rearview mirror. His stomach drops. Not with the mild annoyance that most Americans feel when they get pulled over. With fear. Real, visceral fear that makes his heart start pounding and his hands grip the steering wheel tighter. Because Marcus Williams is a black man in America, and he knows what a traffic stop can become. He immediately starts going through the checklist in his head. The checklist every black person in this country has been taught. The talk that black parents give their children about how to survive an encounter with police. Turn off the car. Roll down the window. Keep your hands visible on the steering wheel at 10 and 2. Don't make any sudden movements. Say yes sir and no sir. Comply with everything. Don't give them any reason at all. Because Philando Castile complied and he still got shot 7 times during a traffic stop. Because Sandra Bland complied and she still ended up dead in a jail cell 3 days after a traffic stop. Because Walter Scott complied until he got scared and ran, and he was shot 5 times in the back during a traffic stop. Because Dante Wright complied and an officer still, accidentally, shot him with her gun instead of her taser during a traffic stop. Marcus knows all these names. Every black person in America knows these names. So when he pulls over to the side of the road, puts his car in park and turns off the engine, he's not thinking about his broken taillight or the warning he might get. He's thinking about his daughter. About whether he'll make it home to cook her dinner. About whether this is the traffic stop that ends differently. That's the reality of being black in America. That's the invisible tax that black people pay every single time they see police lights behind them. And here's what you need to understand before we go any further. Marcus Williams has never been arrested. Not once. He has no criminal record. No warrants. No history of violence. He has exactly 2 speeding tickets in his entire life, both over 10 years old. He's a healthcare professional who spent the pandemic risking his life to save others. He volunteers at his church. He coaches his daughter's soccer team. By every objective measure, Marcus Williams is what we call a model citizen. But in the next 10 minutes, none of that will matter. Because Officer Brandon Mitchell of the Richmond County Sheriff's Department has already run his plates. Already noted in his radio call to dispatch, black male driver. That was the first identifier. Not the broken taillight. Not a suspected violation. Just black male driver. And in Officer Mitchell's mind, shaped by training and culture and implicit bias, that's reason enough to be suspicious. What I'm about to describe to you is captured on 3 different cameras. Officer Mitchell's body cam, his dash cam, and the cell phone of a witness named Jennifer Hartley, a white woman who was walking her dog nearby and stopped when she saw what was happening. I'm going to walk you through this minute by minute, because the details matter. Because this is what happens when routine becomes something else entirely. Officer Mitchell approaches Marcus's car. He doesn't greet him. Doesn't say good afternoon. Doesn't explain why he pulled him over. Just, license and registration. Marcus's voice is calm. Respectful. Yes, sir. My license is in my wallet in my back pocket, and my registration is in the glove compartment. I'm going to reach for my wallet now, is that okay? Did you hear that? Marcus is narrating every single movement. He's asking permission to reach for his own wallet. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. The officer says, "Go ahead." Slowly. Marcus reaches for his wallet. Slowly. Deliberately. Keeping his other hand visible. He hands over his license. Then he says, "Now I'm going to reach into my glove compartment for my registration." And suddenly Officer Mitchell's voice changes. Goes sharp. Aggressive. "Show me your hands. Hands where I can see them." Wait. Stop. What just happened? Marcus told the officer what he was going to do. The officer gave him permission. He moved slowly, deliberately, exactly as instructed. And suddenly the officer is shouting, his hand moving to his weapon. Marcus's hands fly up. His voice is elevated now, scared. "My hands are up. My hands are up. I told you I was reaching for my registration. You told me to get it." But Officer Mitchell is backing away, hand on his holstered weapon, body language aggressive. "Get out of the Sierra. Get out of the car now." Marcus complies. Of course he complies. Because not complying means he might die. He opens the door. He gets out. And immediately, hands on the hood. Hands on the hood now. Marcus puts his hands on the hood of his car. And let me tell you something about that hood. The car's been sitting in the Virginia sun on a March afternoon. The metal is hot. You can hear Marcus inhale sharply from the heat. "Sir, the hood is hot." "I didn't ask if it was hot. Keep your hands on the hood." So Marcus keeps his hands on burning metal. Because that's what compliance looks like. That's what "just do what they say and you'll be fine" actually means. We're 3 minutes into this traffic stop. 3 minutes. Marcus has followed every instruction. He's been respectful. He's been calm. He's narrated every movement. And he's standing with his hands on a hot car hood while an officer with his hand on his weapon treats him like a violent criminal. For a broken taillight. Officer Mitchell begins a pat-down search. Now, legally, an officer can do a quick pat-down if they have reasonable suspicion that someone is armed and dangerous. But what reasonable suspicion does Officer Mitchell have? Marcus is in hospital scrubs. He has no criminal record. He's complied with every command. He hasn't made any threatening movements. The only thing that makes him suspicious is the color of his skin. At minute 4, Officer Mitchell calls for backup. Listen to how he describes the situation to dispatch. "I've got a subject here who's being uncooperative. Requesting backup." Uncooperative. That's the word he uses. For a man who has followed every single instruction. Who has his hands on a burning car hood. Who keeps asking calmly, "What did I do wrong?" A second police car arrives. Officer Sarah Kim. And this is where things could have gone very differently, for better or for worse. Officer Kim approaches and you can hear the confusion in her voice. "Mitchell, what's the situation here?" Subject was making furtive movements during the traffic stop. Potential weapon. Has he been aggressive? There's a pause. Then, no but. Has he refused any commands? Another pause. Longer this time. No, but he was reaching around inside the vehicle. for his registration? The body cam captures Officer Mitchell's face. The moment he realizes how this sounds, how this looks, Officer Kim turns to Marcus. Her voice is notably calmer than her partner's. "Sir, can you tell me what happened?" Marcus's voice is shaking now, with anger, with fear, with exhaustion. "I got pulled over for my tail light. I told him I was reaching for my registration in my glove compartment. He told me to get it. I told him exactly what I was doing. Then he started yelling at me to show my hands and get out of the car. I don't know what I did wrong. I just want to know what I did wrong." That's the question that breaks my heart every time I hear it. What did I do wrong? Because Marcus knows he did everything right. He knows he followed every rule, bent over backwards to make the officer comfortable, did everything he was taught to do to survive a police encounter. And here he is anyway, hands on a hot hood, backup called, being treated like a threat. This is when Jennifer Hartley starts recording on her cell phone. She's about 30 feet away with her golden retriever, and she's been watching this entire thing unfold. And even to her, a white woman who's probably never feared a traffic stop in her life, this doesn't look right. You can hear her on her video talking to herself. "This doesn't seem right. Why are they? He's not doing anything." She walks closer. "Excuse me, what's going on? What did he do?" Officer Mitchell turns on her, his voice sharp. "Ma'am, I need you to step back. This is official police business." "I can see that. I'm just asking what he did. I've been watching and he's complied with everything you've asked." "Ma'am, I will not ask again. Step back or I'll charge you with interfering with an official investigation." But Jennifer doesn't step back. She keeps recording, because she knows something wrong is happening here. And she's using her privilege, the privilege of being a white woman who police are less likely to harm, to bear witness. Meanwhile, Officer Kim is having a quiet conversation with Officer Mitchell. You can hear it on the body cam. "Mitchell, I think we need to de-escalate here. This guy hasn't done anything. Let me handle this. I'm the primary on this stop. And I'm telling you this is getting out of hand for a broken tail light. Let me talk to him." Officer Kim approaches Marcus. "Sir, I'm going to need you to stand up and step back from the vehicle. You're not under arrest. We're going to check your registration and insurance, verify your information, and if everything checks out, you'll get a warning for the tail light and you can go." "Okay. Hear the difference." She's explaining what's happening. She's treating Marcus like a human being. She's de-escalating. This is what should have happened from the very beginning. Marcus stands up. His hands are shaking. "Can I ask why this escalated the way it did?" "I did everything he asked." "I understand your frustration, sir. We're going to sort this out." Officer Kim runs Marcus's information. No warrants. No flags. Everything checks out exactly as it should. Of course it does. While she's doing that, Officer Mitchell is talking to a third officer who's arrived on scene. And the body cam captures him saying, "These people always think we're targeting them. Guy's got an attitude, probably hiding something. I know the type. These people. I know the type. That's not a slip of the tongue. That's not taken out of context. That's racial profiling, captured on official police body camera footage." Officer Kim returns to Marcus. "Mr. Williams, everything checks out. I'm going to issue you a warning for the tail light. Please get it fixed within the next week. I apologize for how this went down. You're free to go." Marcus looks at her, then at Officer Mitchell, then back at her. "That's it? After all this I just go? What about what he said? What about what he did?" "Sir, I understand you're upset. You have every right to file a complaint if you feel you were mistreated. The procedures will be in your warning paperwork." Marcus laughs. It's a bitter sound. A complaint. Right. I'm sure that'll make a difference. He gets back in his car, starts the engine, and drives away with shaking hands and a warning citation. 11 minutes. That's how long the stop lasted. 11 minutes of his life where he wasn't sure if he'd see his daughter again. Where he had to stand with his hands on burning metal while being treated like a criminal for the offense of being black and driving through a white neighborhood. But Jennifer Hartley's video is already uploading to Twitter. And what happened next changed everything. Jennifer Hartley posts her video at 4:03 p.m. She writes, "Just witnessed what I think was racial profiling during a traffic stop in Richmond. This man did nothing wrong. Why did it escalate like this?" By 6 p.m. the video has 50,000 views. By midnight, 2 million. By the next morning, it's the #1 trending topic on Twitter. Every major news outlet is covering it. There are protests outside the Richmond County Sheriff's Department. Civil rights organizations are demanding answers. The department initially defends Officer Mitchell. Says the stop was conducted by the book. Says Marcus was uncooperative, even though the video clearly shows otherwise. Says people don't understand the split-second decisions officers have to make. But then the body cam footage is released. 3 days later, after mounting public pressure and threats of legal action. And it confirms everything Jennifer's cell phone video showed. Marcus Williams did nothing wrong. Nothing to justify the escalation. Nothing to warrant being treated like a dangerous criminal. The body cam shows Officer Mitchell approaching with aggression from the start. Shows him escalating without cause. Shows him calling Marcus uncooperative, when Marcus was doing exactly what he was told. Shows him telling another officer that these people always claim they're being targeted, that he knows the type. The footage doesn't lie. And for once, there's enough documentation. 3 cameras, multiple witnesses, clear timestamps, that the usual excuses don't work. But here's what I want you to understand. Marcus Williams was lucky. I know that sounds strange. Lucky? The man was terrorized during a routine traffic stop. But yes, lucky. He's lucky Officer Kim showed up and de-escalated before things got worse. He's lucky Jennifer Hartley was there to record. He's lucky the body cams were on and the footage wasn't lost or corrupted. He's lucky he remembered to keep his hands visible, to narrate his movements, to stay calm even when every instinct was screaming at him to defend himself. He's lucky he made it home to his daughter that night, because not everyone does. Philando Castile was pulled over for a broken taillight. He told the officer he had a licensed firearm. He was shot 7 times while reaching for his license. He died in front of his girlfriend and her 4-year-old daughter. Sandra Bland was pulled over for failing to signal a lane change. The stop escalated when she refused to put out her cigarette, which she had every legal right to do. She was arrested. 3 days later, she was found dead in her cell. Walter Scott was pulled over for a broken brake light. He ran from the officer, unarmed and afraid. The officer shot him 5 times in the back as he ran away, then planted a taser next to his body. Dante Wright was pulled over for expired registration and an air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror. An officer with 26 years of experience said she mistook her gun for her taser. She shot and killed him. These aren't isolated incidents. These are patterns. And they keep happening because the system that's supposed to protect everyone is built on a foundation of racial bias that criminalizes black existence. Let me give you some statistics because this isn't anecdotal. This is data. Black drivers are 20% more likely to be pulled over than white drivers. Once pulled over, black drivers are twice as likely to be searched, despite being less likely to be found with contraband than white drivers. After being pulled over, black drivers are more likely to be arrested, more likely to have force used against them, more likely to be killed. These disparities exist in every state, in liberal cities and conservative towns, in the North and the South, everywhere. And it's not because black people are more likely to break traffic laws. Multiple studies have shown that when you remove officer discretion and use cameras to catch violations automatically, like speeding cameras or red light cameras, the racial disparities disappear. Black and white drivers break traffic laws at similar rates. The difference is enforcement. The difference is which drivers officers choose to pull over, which drivers they choose to search, which drivers they approach with suspicion versus courtesy. And that choice, conscious or unconscious, is shaped by the same racial biases that have criminalized black people in this country since before this country was even founded. Marcus Williams understood this. That's why he narrated every movement. Why he asked permission to reach for his own wallet. Why he kept his hands visible even when they were burning on hot metal. Why he said, "Yes, sir," even though he'd done nothing wrong. He wasn't being overly cautious. He was trying to stay alive. Because he knows, like every black person in America knows, that compliance might not save you, but it's still your best chance. That doing everything right is no guarantee, but doing anything wrong is a death sentence. 3 days after the incident, Marcus Williams gave an interview. And what he said broke my heart because it was so honest, so raw, so true. People keep asking me, why did you comply? Why didn't you stand up for yourself? And I have to explain, that's not how it works when you're black. In that moment, I wasn't thinking about standing up for my rights. I was thinking about surviving. I was thinking about my 7-year-old daughter expecting me home for dinner. I was thinking about Philando Castile and Sandra Bland and Walter Scott and every other name of black people who didn't survive traffic stops. So yeah, I put my hands on that burning hood. I said, yes sir. I did everything I was supposed to do. And I'm one of the lucky ones, because I'm still here to tell this story. But here's what people need to understand, I shouldn't have to be lucky. Following the law, complying with police orders, doing everything right, that should be enough. That should keep me safe. But when you're black, it's not. You can do everything right and still end up dead. And that's not a bug in the system. That's the system working exactly as it was designed. So let's talk about that system. Because what happened to Marcus Williams isn't an aberration. It's not a bad apple. It's not one racist cop. It's a feature of American policing that has roots going back centuries. Traffic stops have always been a tool of racial control. During Jim Crow, black drivers were routinely stopped and harassed simply for being in white neighborhoods. Police enforced what were called sundown laws, making sure black people weren't in certain areas after dark. If you were black and driving through a white neighborhood, you were suspicious by default. When segregation ended legally, the practice continued unofficially. Driving while black became the new terminology for the same old harassment. Officers would pull over black drivers for vague reasons. You looked suspicious, you fit the description of someone we're looking for, your car seemed out of place in this neighborhood. Then came the war on drugs in the 1980s and 90s. And with it came a new policing strategy, pretextual stops. Officers would pull people over for minor violations, broken taillight, air freshener in the windshield, going 3 miles over the speed limit, and then use that as an excuse to search for drugs. And who were they stopping? Overwhelmingly black and Latino drivers. Entire police departments adopted policies of pulling over black drivers in white neighborhoods under the assumption that they must be there to buy or sell drugs. In 1996, the Supreme Court made this legal. In a case called Wren versus United States, the court ruled that pretextual stops were constitutional. Officers could pull you over for any minor violation, no matter how trivial, and then use that as an excuse to search your car, question you, run your record, investigate you for other crimes. This ruling essentially gave police legal permission to use traffic enforcement as a tool for racial profiling, as long as they could point to some minor violation as justification. And here's the thing, we all violate traffic laws. Every single driver. Studies show that if police wanted to, they could legally pull over almost any car on the road at any time for some minor violation. We all speed occasionally. We all roll through stop signs. We all have a taillight or brake light burnout at some point. But police don't pull over everyone. They make choices about which violations to enforce and which drivers to stop. And study after study shows those choices are influenced by race. A black driver and a white driver can commit the same violation, and the black driver is significantly more likely to be pulled over. That's not opinion. That's data from the Stanford Open Policing Project, which analyzed over 100 million traffic stops across the country. And once pulled over, black drivers face harsher treatment. They're more likely to be asked to get out of the car, more likely to be searched, more likely to have force used against them, more likely to be arrested even when the violation is minor. Why? Because of implicit bias, the unconscious associations we all carry about race and criminality. Research by Stanford psychologist Jennifer Eberhardt has shown that people, including police officers, are more likely to associate black faces with crime. They're quicker to perceive weapons in the hands of black men, more likely to interpret neutral actions as aggressive when performed by black people, more likely to remember black faces as belonging to suspects. These aren't conscious decisions. They're split-second judgments shaped by cultural messages we've all absorbed about who is dangerous and who is safe, who belongs and who is suspicious, who deserves the benefit of the doubt and who deserves scrutiny. That's what happened to Marcus Williams. Officer Mitchell saw a black man driving through a white neighborhood, and his brain, trained by culture and reinforced by policing practices, interpreted that as suspicious. When Marcus reached for his registration, Officer Mitchell's bias told him it might be a weapon. When Marcus calmly asked what he did wrong, Officer Mitchell heard uncooperative. None of this was conscious. Officer Mitchell probably doesn't think of himself as racist. He probably has black friends or family members. He probably would be offended at the suggestion that race influenced his actions. But that's how bias works. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't wear a hood. It hides behind neutral language like officer safety and suspicious behavior and following protocol. And the system protects it. When Marcus tried to file a complaint, he was told it would be investigated internally. When the video went viral, the department's first response was to defend the officer. When the body cam footage was released, the union issued a statement about how difficult police work is and how split-second decisions can be misunderstood. It took sustained public pressure, national media coverage, and undeniable video evidence from 3 separate cameras before any consequences happened. And even then, the consequences were limited to one officer. Officer Brandon Mitchell was eventually fired from the Richmond County Sheriff's Department. But 3 months later, he was hired by a police department in a neighboring county. Because there's no national database of police misconduct. Because bad apple officers can just move from department to department. Because the system protects its own. Meanwhile, the system that created Officer Mitchell, the training that taught him to see black men as threats, the policies that allowed him to make pretextual stops, the culture that protected him even when video showed he was wrong, that system is still intact. So what do we do? How do we fix this? Some cities are trying. They've implemented policies to reduce pretextual stops, banning officers from pulling people over for minor equipment violations like broken taillights, air fresheners, or expired tags. The idea is to reduce the number of encounters between police and drivers, especially for violations that don't actually threaten public safety. Camden, New Jersey implemented these policies and saw a 50% reduction in traffic stops. Crime didn't increase. Public safety didn't suffer. What did change was that black residents stopped living in constant fear of being pulled over for driving through their own neighborhoods. Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Minneapolis, and several other cities have adopted similar reforms. And the results are promising. Fewer stops, fewer searches, fewer uses of force, and no increase in crime. But these reforms face fierce resistance. Police unions argue that minor stops sometimes lead to major arrests, finding guns, drugs, wanted fugitives. Law and order politicians claim that restricting police discretion will lead to chaos and crime spikes. And yes, sometimes a stop for a broken taillight does lead to a bigger arrest. But at what cost? At the cost of thousands of innocent black drivers being pulled over, searched, and traumatized for no reason? At the cost of people like Marcus Williams, a healthcare worker who saves lives, being treated like a criminal while driving home from work? At the cost of the Philando Castiles and Sandra Blands and Dante Wrights who didn't survive their routine traffic stops? Is that an acceptable trade-off? Is it worth terrorizing an entire community on the off chance that one stop might uncover something? I would argue, and I think most of us would argue, that it's not. We also need better training. Training that specifically addresses implicit bias, that teaches officers to recognize when they're making assumptions based on race, that emphasizes de-escalation over control. Officer Sarah Kim demonstrated what that looks like. She arrived at a tense situation, assessed it clearly, questioned why it had escalated, and then de-escalated. She treated Marcus like a human being. She explained what was happening. She resolved the situation peacefully. That should be the standard, not the exception. We need accountability. Real accountability, not internal investigations that almost always clear officers of wrongdoing. Independent oversight boards with real power. A national database of police misconduct so officers can't just move to a new department when they're fired. Actual consequences when officers abuse their power. And we need to fundamentally rethink what role police should play in our society. Do we really need armed officers enforcing minor traffic violations? Or could we have unarmed traffic enforcement the way many other countries do? Could we use automated systems for certain violations, removing human bias from the equation entirely? These aren't radical ideas. These are practical solutions that other democracies have implemented successfully. But they require us to challenge the assumption that the way we currently do policing is the only way. That law and order requires black people to live in fear. That officer safety justifies treating every black driver as a potential threat. Marcus Williams said something in that interview that stuck with me. I shouldn't have to be lucky. I shouldn't have to do everything perfectly and still hope that's enough. I should be able to drive home from work without fearing for my life. My daughter should be able to get her license someday without me having to give her the talk about how to survive a traffic stop. That's what normal looks like for white families. Why can't it be normal for us too? Why can't it? 3 months after Marcus Williams's traffic stop went viral, the Richmond County Sheriff's Department implemented new policies. Officers now have to explain the reason for a stop before asking for documents. They're prohibited from making stops for minor equipment violations unless they pose an immediate safety risk. Bodycam footage is automatically reviewed for any stop that results in a complaint. These are good changes, important changes. But they're happening in one department, in one county, in one state. There are over 18,000 police departments in the United States. Most of them have not made these changes. Most of them still allow pretextual stops. Most of them still operate with the same biases and practices that turned Marcus Williams's routine traffic stop into a national story. So the question isn't really whether change is possible. The question is whether we have the will to demand it everywhere, not just in the places where viral videos force the issue. Because for every Marcus Williams whose story gets captured on video and goes viral, there are thousands whose stories don't. Thousands of black drivers pulled over every single day. Thousands of moments of fear, humiliation, trauma. Thousands of people just trying to get home safely. If you're white and watching this, I want you to think about the last time you got pulled over. Were you scared for your life? Did you narrate every movement? Did you wonder if you'd see your family again? Probably not. You might have been annoyed, frustrated, worried about a ticket, but not afraid, not terrified, not thinking about Philando Castile or Sandra Bland or the hundreds of others who didn't survive routine traffic stops. That difference between annoyance and terror, between inconvenience and life-threatening danger, that's what we're talking about when we talk about racial inequality. That's what we mean when we say the system is broken. Your experience isn't universal. Your safety isn't guaranteed for everyone. And the privilege of not having to fear for your life during a traffic stop? That's something you can use to help change the system. Speak up when you see injustice. Support reforms that reduce unnecessary police encounters. Believe black people when they tell you about their experiences. Be like Jennifer Hartley, who saw something wrong and refused to look away, who recorded it and shared it and used her privilege to protect someone who was vulnerable. And if you're black and watching this, I want you to know, it's not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. The fear you feel when you see those lights is rational. The talk you have with your children is necessary. The exhaustion of constantly having to prove your humanity is real and valid. But you deserve better. You deserve to drive without fear. You deserve to exist without surveillance. You deserve the same presumption of innocence that others receive automatically. Your fight for those rights, your refusal to accept this as normal, that's what's going to change things. Not quickly, not easily, but eventually. Marcus Williams is still driving, still going to work every day, still coaching his daughter's soccer team. He installed a dash cam in his car, front and rear, so if it happens again he'll have his own footage. He's joined a local police accountability board, working to change policies in his county. And he's teaching his daughter Zoe about the world she lives in, teaching her to be proud of who she is, teaching her that her skin is beautiful, not suspicious, teaching her that when the system fails to see her humanity, She should never stop seeing it herself. It was supposed to be a routine stop. A broken tail light. 5 minutes, a warning, drive away. But for Marcus Williams, like for millions of Black Americans, routine is never really routine. Compliance isn't protection. And doing everything right sometimes still isn't enough. That's not justice. That's not equality. That's not the America we claim to be. The cameras don't lie. The statistics don't lie. The lived experiences of Black people don't lie. The only question left is, are we finally ready to listen? Are we finally ready to change? Because for some, compliance isn't protection. And until we fix the system that makes that true, we haven't fixed anything at all. The footage is out there. The truth is documented. What happens next is up to us. Black drivers are 20% more likely to be pulled over than white drivers. Black people are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police. In 2023, over 400 people were killed during traffic stops. This is not normal. This should not be accepted. This must change.